I was totally hesitant. I was very, very nervous. It was scary.
I think that there is kind of a hunger for controversial material.
It's a polarizing conversation. Mostly it's a conversation that needs to happen.
My name is Isabel May, and I am playing Zoe Hole in Run, Hide, Fight. Zoe Hole is a complex person. I want this played at my funeral. With past trauma. Her mother passed away from a long-term illness, and it's something that she has not coped with and has not accepted. And she's grown up in an environment where her father is an ex-military guy, and she hunts. Her surroundings, her environment is quite stark, but also very warm in the sense that she has a very good friend to keep her going and moving forward. But she's in a tough place when the film begins, and she's ignoring that. But she's got a resilience and strength in her that comes out, and I think it's definitely because of the way she was raised, without a doubt. She's not perfect by any means, and at times you probably don't like her that much because she's not very nice at this one moment. And I think we're all like that, we have our days, we have a bad day all the time. But she keeps going. Just don't get the wrong impression. She's terrified, but she's resilient, and she genuinely cares about the people that she realizes I didn't pay any attention to any of these students or the teachers or that one kid that smiled at me that one time, and now it's my time to fight back. When I was about to agree to sign on to this, I was totally hesitant. I was very, very nervous. It was scary. It was totally scary because, the people in your ear, you're like, oh, that I'm risking my career, or people will assume that I have this, bias or this or that. Clearly, I hadn't met the rest of the cast quite yet, and I didn't know what they were going to do, and I didn't know what the energy would be like on set. And I really didn't know how anyone would come into it, and if we would all kind of respect one another, and what the bias would be on the subject matter. And I kind of took myself out of the equation, and I said, this isn't about you or your career. You want to make films that matter or impactful, and I hope that that's what this does for people. There's so much there in this film. There's so much we're both trying to say and not to say. We're not telling you what's right or wrong. Like, that's what I find so unique about this film. There is no necessarily, there is no bias, It's blown me away. Just not only the talent, which is important, but also the mutual understanding of what we're trying to achieve here. We're all very, very aware of how controversial and horrific this situation is, and desperately want to help. And this is really creatively the only way we can, and we really care. Everyone cares so much, and that's that's been a lot to me, and it's not what I was expecting. It was what I was hoping for, but I never anticipated that. The morning that I went to set, and I opened my phone, and first thing I saw was that there's a school shooting, Santa Clarita, very close to where I live. I've lived my entire life. I know the school. I don't know anyone there, but I know many people who on set told me that their families were impacted by it, or people that they knew were impacted by it. Everyone was very quiet. It's like they didn't want to speak, or they didn't know what to say. We wrapped up shooting at 3:45 a.m. in the morning, and a makeup artist said to me, when we were all feeling affected and very tired and like we wanted to go home after so many hours, and frankly had forgotten what had just happened that very morning, she said, this is for those two kids and the kids that have been affected by it, and the families that have just been affected by a horrible tragedy. And immediately it reminded me, this is why we're making this film.
I'm Eli Brown, and I'm playing Tristan Voy in Run, Hide, Fight. Everything that I was able to find that centers around gun violence in schools It mostly deals with the before or the after or both, with maybe a little bit of the action right in the middle. But Run, Hide, Fight, it takes, I mean, it's happening in almost real time, the entire movie, right? So it's not about what is this going to look like after, what leads to this. It's just like, this is what it's like being in this. It's very immersive, and I think that will capture people's attention for sure. When I did my self-tape for this, because I did it from Oregon, I didn't audition in LA. For some reason, it really wasn't like, I didn't feel like what I was doing was working, and I was trying different things, and nothing felt good to me. And it just reached the point where I was like, I'm just gonna send it off. I'm not gonna drain more time on this because I'm losing my mind. So I just sent it off, and then I was like, I told my reps, I was like, this is bad. This is really, like, this is the worst I've ever done, but I don't know what to do. And they were like, it's not terrible, we'll send it off. And then I think it was the next day, they were like, Kyle wants to FaceTime with you. And I was like, oh, really? Great, okay. So he FaceTimed me, and he was like, I love what you're doing. You're my first choice, but before you agree to do this thing, I want you to read the script. Have you read the script? And I said, no, I haven't. He said, go read the script, and then we can talk about it. And I went back and I read the script, and truly gruesome and horrifying and terrible. And I'm the leader of all that horror. But on the other hand, him saying that he liked what I did gave me this boost of confidence where all of a sudden I was like, I think that I can simultaneously be entertaining enough to keep the audience there while also being in something that's so horrible that it sparks a conversation. He is one of the kinds of directors who really just says, do your thing. I trust you. Go do your thing. That's never happened to me before, working in film and television. I've never worked with a director who just says, here's the ball, make it bounce, I don't know. I think that a lot of people are going to find this movie very disturbing, and I'm okay with that. For example, I don't think my mom will even be able to watch it. From the minute he steps out of the van and says his line and stabs the gym teacher, it's like, okay, he's f***ed up. It's just maxed out evil. I did spend some time thinking about this, and I did not want to dehumanize him. They don't initially come off as mass murderers or psychopaths. I wanted to be like, this can come out of left field, anywhere you are, and that's how it works. I think that's what's really terrifying about it. I think that there is kind of a hunger for controversial material. And there's also a hunger to shit on it. We don't really have conversations about anything anymore as a country. It's just kind of, I'm right, you're wrong, and there's no changing that. There's never any sort of insightful dialogue between parties. So if it starts any conversation of any sort, I think, that's a step in the right direction. Before you send me hate mail, just know that I made this movie because I'm terrified of guns, not because I love them. I'm not here because I enjoy blowing people's brains out. That's not why I signed on. It's actually the opposite.
My name is Thomas Jane, and I play Todd Hull in Run, Hide, Fight. My dad's a hunter. I've grown up with guns my whole life. He has quite an excellent shotgun collection. I believe in gun safety. I do not believe in gun violence. I don't know anyone who's been affected by gun violence, except for people who have taken their own lives with guns. I know a few people who have done that. I believe in gun regulations. We should try to find how to balance the right to carry and the right to own a firearm with keeping it out of the hands of people who should not have one. It's a polarizing conversation. Mostly it's a conversation that needs to happen. I think you have two sides, and we hear more of the extreme views more than we hear the middle. And I think that the media plays on that. I think everyone's aware of that. I think it's a question with no easy answer, and that the conversation needs to be rational, and it needs to be thoughtful, and it needs to take into consideration both sides of the argument in order to find the correct solution. I don't believe changing the Constitution is the answer, but there is an answer, and I think that the more we talk about it, and the more I hope this film helps add to the conversation, the closer we'll get to a solution. The mainstream appeal of the story, we can create a conversation that more people can get involved with, by making sort of a popular, entertaining film. The idea is that we'll spark a conversation amongst the mainstream, and that turned me on. It's refreshing to have a film where everything's practical and we really shoot blanks and squib people and set real fires and, really blow stuff up. It's every director's dream to have the kind of creative freedom. But let me tell you, it adds any bit of realism you can add to the story that we're telling helps everybody. And it helps the actors, it helps the extras, it helps everyone making the movie feel the realism and what we're going for. The quality of the script turned me on. In the film, I play Zoe Hull's father. She's the lead of the film. And I teach Zoe in the beginning of the film how to use a rifle and how to kill a deer. We're deer hunting. Zoe goes on to use those skills that I've taught her later on in the film to protect herself and save other kids. That resonated with me. That's why I wanted to do the part. It's the skills that we teach our kids, and we never know how they're going to use it.